The crystal chandeliers of the Gilded Spoon dripped diamond-like light onto polished mahogany, reflecting off the expensive silks and tailored suits of Zenith City's elite. But for Ethan Lin, the opulent scene was nothing more than a blurred, judgmental tableau. His world had narrowed to the three figures across the table, their faces starkly illuminated, their words sharper than any blade. "Ethan," Clara began, her voice a cool, practiced melody that once captivated him. Now it was just ice. Her long, dark hair, styled in perfect waves, framed a face that truly belonged on magazine covers. She was the woman he'd loved for years, the one he'd envisioned a future with, pouring his meager savings and endless effort into their shared dreams. This isn't working. We both know it. Beside her, Sophia, his arranged fiancée from a powerful corporate family, nodded, her expression regal and dismissive. Her emerald eyes, usually reserved, now held a glint of something akin to pity, a far more wounding emotion than anger. "Indeed, Ethan. Our families may have had an agreement, but a partnership requires synergy, ambition, a certain spark." The spark they were referring to wasn't hard to identify. It was seated between them, leaning back in his chair with an easy, confident smile that seemed to radiate light. Daniel Lee, the effortlessly charismatic prodigy, the scion of a flourishing tech empire, and the man Zenith City tabloids had already crowned the golden boy. He possessed an aura, a natural magnetism that Ethan, despite all his strenuous efforts, simply couldn't replicate. Daniel's presence was like a high-wattage spotlight, leaving Ethan feeling like a flickering candle in comparison. Ethan felt a cold dread seep into his bones, numbing him. He'd seen the signs, of course. The increasingly distant calls from Clara, the subtle eye rolls from Sophia whenever he spoke of his latest, painstakingly researched investment idea. But to have it culminate here, in such a public, brutal fashion. "What are you saying?" Ethan's voice was a hoarse whisper, barely audible above the soft clinking of cutlery and the murmur of polite conversation. He knew deep down, but the denial was a desperate shield. Clara sighed, a delicate, exasperated sound. "We're saying, we've found someone who understands our aspirations. Someone who can truly elevate us, who embodies the future we envision." She gestured towards Daniel, her hand resting briefly on his arm, a gesture that twisted a knife in Ethan's gut. "Daniel." Sophia, ever more direct, added, "You're a good man, Ethan. Diligent. Stable. But stable isn't what Zenith City demands. It demands dynamism. Vision. Daniel has that. You tried, and we appreciate that. Truly." The words were meant to soften the blow, but they only delivered it with greater force. He tried. He was merely stable. A consolation prize in a game he hadn't even realized he was losing. Daniel, sensing the tension, offered a sympathetic, almost regretful smile. "Ethan, I genuinely wish you the best. No hard feelings, I hope." His eyes, however, held a flicker of triumph, quickly masked, but enough to burn into Ethan's memory. It wasn't malicious. Just the natural arrogance of someone who had never truly faced struggle. The blood drained from Ethan's face. His hands, gripping the edge of the pristine white tablecloth, trembled imperceptibly. He felt the weight of every judging glance in the room, the silent whispers confirming his utter failure. His family, once respectable but now struggling, had pinned their hopes on him. He'd worked tirelessly, not out of inherent brilliance, but sheer grit, trying to build a stable future, trying to prove his worth. He was the dependable son, the reliable partner. And now he was nothing. A discarded footnote in the grand narrative of Zenith City. He stood up abruptly, overturning his water glass. The crystalline shatter was a piercing counterpoint to the polite silence that immediately fell over their table. Water spread across the immaculate linen, a growing stain mirroring the shame engulfing him. "No hard feelings?" Ethan choked out, his voice raw, laced with a bitterness that surprised even himself. "You take everything I had, everything I worked for, everything I believed in, and you ask me if there are no hard feelings?" He looked from Clara's suddenly uncomfortable face to Sophia's impassive one, then to Daniel's faintly apologetic smirk. Go to hell, all of you." He spun on his heel and stumbled out of the Gilded Spoon, the hushed murmurs of the patrons chasing him like a pack of hounds. The cold night air of Zenith City hit him like a physical blow, a stark contrast to the suffocating warmth of the restaurant. The neon glow of towering skyscrapers mocked his insignificance, their lights a dizzying testament to the wealth and power he so desperately lacked. He walked, aimless, the city's pulse thrumming around him, each beat a reminder of his own broken rhythm. His mind replayed the scene, fragment by painful fragment. Clara's elegant dismissal, Sophia's patrician pity, Daniel's effortless triumph. He was a stepping stone, a background character, the cannon fodder in someone else's epic. Years of striving, years of sacrificing, all for this. To be publicly, unequivocally, and simultaneously abandoned by both his long-term love and his advantageous arranged fiancé, all for the same man. The humiliation was a physical ache, a knot in his chest that threatened to suffocate him. He ended up in his modest, rented apartment, a stark, unadorned space far removed from the lavish penthouses of Zenith's elite. He slammed the door shut, cutting off the city's indifferent hum. The silence in his apartment was deafening, broken only by his ragged breathing. He stared at the faded wallpaper, at the stack of unpaid bills on his small table, at the phone that remained stubbornly silent. A raw, guttural cry tore from his throat. He sank to the worn couch, burying his face in his hands, hot tears finally scalding his cheeks. "Why?" he whispered, his voice cracking. "Why am I never enough? I worked so hard. I tried everything. I'm a failure. I'm just a goddamn failure." He cursed the world. He cursed Daniel Lee and his infuriating luck. He cursed Clara and Sophia for their superficiality, and most of all, he cursed himself. He cursed his lack of inherent talent, his declining family fortune, his mundane existence. "If there's any justice in this damned universe," he sobbed, pounding his fist weakly on the dusty cushion, "I wish I could show them. I wish I could wipe that smug look off Daniel's face and make them regret every single word." As the last, bitter curse escaped his lips, a blinding flash of emerald light erupted from his smartwatch, accompanied by a high-pitched, almost musical chime that resonated deep within his skull. He recoiled, clutching his head, his eyes squeezed shut. When he cautiously opened them, the air in his small living room shimmered with an ethereal, geometric pattern. A transparent interface, glowing with a soft, cyan hue, floated directly before him, filled with crisp, elegant text. Ascendant Wealth System initializing. User identified, Ethan Lin. Status, dejected. Bankrupt. Cannon fodder. Potential, unlocking. Greetings, host. Welcome to the Ascendant Wealth System. Ethan stared, bewildered. What in the? He rubbed his eyes, convinced he was hallucinating from grief and exhaustion. The interface remained solid and unyielding. A calm, synthesized female voice, devoid of emotion yet strangely authoritative, emanated from the interface, seemingly from the very air around him. "I am AWSI, Ascendant Wealth System Interface. You have been selected, host, due to a unique confluence of circumstances, extreme emotional nadir, a strong desire for upward mobility, and the latent potential for exponential growth." Potential? What are you talking about? Ethan stammered, his despair momentarily replaced by a bizarre mix of fear and disbelief. Is this some kind of prank? A VR game? Negative. I am a proprietary, hyper-advanced algorithm designed to guide individuals from obscurity to unimaginable wealth, transcending conventional limitations, AWSI explained. Your net worth is currently critically low, your social standing precarious. The system offers missions, investment opportunities, skill upgrades, and crucial information, all tied to the singular goal: accumulate staggering wealth, surpass your current detractors, and achieve true self-worth. Ethan blinked. Unimaginable wealth? Surpass Daniel Lee? The words resonated with a primal yearning deep within him. This sounds impossible, he breathed, a flicker of hope, tiny but persistent, igniting in his chest. The impossible is merely a variable awaiting optimization, host, AWSI stated. Your journey begins now. Are you ready to accept the challenge? A new panel materialized on the interface. First mission, the Forsaken Investment. Objective, acquire 1,000 shares of Phoenix Holdings at current market value within 24 hours. Research provided. Initial capital required, 5,000. Reward, 15,000 system credit, 1 market insight skill point, basic financial data package. Penalty for failure, system dormancy for 7 days. Further progress restricted. Current funds available, 5,327, checking account. Ethan stared at the mission brief, his heart beginning to pound with a frantic rhythm. $5,000. That was almost everything he had left. It was a terrifying sum to risk, especially after tonight. Yet, the reward. 15,000, a skill point data. It was more than he'd made in months. And the alternative? System dormancy, stuck in his current hell. He looked at the glowing interface, then at his trembling hands, then finally at the faint, spectral image of Daniel Lee's smug face, Clara's disdain, Sophia's cold pity, burned into his mind. The sting of their abandonment was still fresh, but now a new emotion began to simmer beneath the surface of his grief, a potent, scorching resolve. All right, Ethan whispered, his voice hoarse but firm. A steel resolve hardened his gaze as he stared at the digital prompt. I accept. The stale air of his cramped apartment hung heavy, a physical manifestation of Ethan Lynn's despair. He'd barely slept, the images of Clara's dismissive gaze and Sophia's pitying sigh replaying on an endless loop. His phone, which he'd thrown across the room in a fit of rage, lay cracked on the carpet. Picking it up, he winced at the spiderweb of fractures across the screen, a perfect metaphor for his life. Then he remembered. The voice. The system. AWSI, he mumbled, his voice hoarse. A cool, synthesized feminine voice instantly responded, echoing from the phone despite its damage. Good morning, host. Ready for your first mission? Ethan flinched. It wasn't a dream. This was real. A knot of excitement, sharp and unfamiliar, twisted in his gut, battling with the lingering tendrils of cynicism. Ready? I don't even know what ready means. What is this system, AWSI? The Ascendant Wealth System is designed to guide you towards unimaginable prosperity, host. Its mechanics are complex and beyond your current comprehension. For now, understand this. Follow its directives, and your financial trajectory will eclipse any you could achieve through conventional means. A pause. Failure to comply or blatant disregard for its core objectives will result in immediate termination of system privileges. The threat was cold, absolute. Ethan swallowed hard. Unimaginable prosperity, huh? And what's the catch? Some kind of Faustian bargain. There is no catch beyond your willingness to execute. Your primary currency of exchange is commitment and resolve. Now, to your first mission. The voice shifted, becoming more precise, almost clinical. Mission 001, Initial Capital Accumulation. Objective, invest your available capital into the specified asset within the next 12 hours. Target, achieve a minimum 75 return on investment within 3 days. Reward, 100 system points, unlocked basic market insight skill, and 10,000 bonus capital. Ethan stared at his cracked screen. Invest my capital? What capital? I have barely anything left after everything. He had roughly 7,000 left in his savings, remnants of years of prudent living, now feeling pathetic compared to the opulent lives Clara and Sophia were walking into. Your current liquid assets total 7,123.47. The system assesses this as sufficient for the initial objective. Asset target, shares in Ethel Labs, AEL. Current price, 2.15 per share. Ethel Labs? Ethan vaguely recognized the name. A small, struggling biotech firm, often mentioned in industry news as being perpetually on the verge of bankruptcy. Investing in Ethel Labs was practically financial suicide. Are you serious? Ethel Labs? That company's a money pit. Everyone knows it's a gamble and a losing one at that. Ethan scoffed, skepticism overriding his nascent hope. The system's calculations are infallible, host. Ethel Labs holds a critical patent for a revolutionary energy-efficient battery component. Public records indicate ongoing negotiations for licensing, but current market sentiment remains negative due to a recently failed clinical trial unrelated to their battery division. Our projections indicate a major acquisition announcement regarding the battery patent within 48 to 72 hours, triggering a sharp increase in share value. Ethan rubbed his temples. It sounded insane. Yet, the voice was so utterly confident. Could it be true? What if this was his chance? The ultimate humiliation he'd suffered had stripped him bare, leaving him with nothing left to lose but the phantom of his old, broken pride. Okay, he said slowly, his heart beginning to pound. Okay, let's say I believe you. How much do I invest? Maximum available capital is recommended for optimal returns, host. The system provides certainty. Hesitation is costly. Maximum available capital. All 7,123.47. Every last cent he had left in the world. A cold sweat broke out on his brow. This was terrifying. This was everything. If he failed, he'd be truly destitute. But if he succeeded, 75 return. On 7,123.47, that was an additional 5,342.60. Plus the 10,000 bonus from the system. He'd have over 22,000. It wasn't unimaginable wealth, but it was a solid foundation, far more than he had now. He took a deep, shuddering breath. All right, AWS, tell me how. The system provided clear, concise instructions for setting up a new brokerage account with a low-fee platform and executing the trade. Ethan, surprisingly, found himself moving with a newfound focus. The shame of Clara and Sophia, the smug face of Daniel Lee, it all coalesced into a desperate drive. This wasn't just about money, it was about proving he wasn't a complete failure. He transferred his funds, heart thumping against his ribs. The process felt surreal. Each click of the mouse, each confirmation, was a step further into the unknown. When the order for 3,313 shares of AEL at 2.15 was finally confirmed, a wave of nausea washed over him. He had done it. He had bet everything on a detached AI's voice and a struggling company. The next 2 days were a blur of nervous energy. Ethan tracked Ethel Labs' stock price like a hawk, refreshing the page every few minutes. It stagnated, hovering around 2.10 to 2.20. Doubts gnawed at him. Was he insane? Was this an elaborate scam? Would he wake up poorer than ever? He barely ate, barely slept, his anxiety a constant hum in his ears. Every time he felt the urge to sell, to cut his losses, AWSI's calm, confident voice would subtly remind him, projections remain unchanged, host. Maintain position. On the morning of the third day, Ethan's finger hovered over the sell button, despair threatening to overwhelm him. He couldn't take it anymore. He'd barely moved. His 7,000 was just sitting there, not growing, while his dread mounted. Then his phone buzzed with a news alert. Quantum Innovations acquires Ethel Labs' proprietary battery technology patent for $250 million. Ethan stared. His breath hitched. Quantum Innovations was a major player, a behemoth in the tech world. He frantically refreshed his brokerage app. Ethel Labs, AL 4.80. His jaw dropped. 4.80 from 2.15. The stock had more than doubled overnight. He calculated quickly, his fingers trembling on the calculator app. 3,313 shares multiplied by 4.80. That was 15,902.40. A profit of 8,778.93. More than a 120 return. Mission 001. Initial capital accumulation. Objective achieved. Congratulations, host. AWSI's voice held a faint, almost imperceptible note of satisfaction. Your new total liquid assets, 15,902.40. System points awarded, 100. Bonus capital awarded, 10,000. New total, 25,902.40. Ethan slumped back in his chair, a disbelieving laugh bubbling up from deep within his chest. He closed his eyes, relief washing over him in a powerful wave. He hadn't just survived, he had won. He had turned his measly savings into nearly $26,000 in 3 days. I did it, he whispered, a smile slowly spreading across his face, genuine and unrestrained for the first time in weeks. It's real. It's actually real. As affirmed, host. Additionally, the basic market insight skill has been unlocked. You will now experience subtle intuitive nudges regarding market fluctuations and undervalued assets, improving your analytical capabilities. He felt a strange, almost imperceptible shift in his mind, like a new neural pathway had just been forged. A faint understanding of market dynamics, previously a confusing jumble of charts and jargon, seemed to click into place. This wasn't just money. This was power. A new kind of power that Daniel Lee, with all his inherent charm and inherited wealth, couldn't possess. Ethan immediately withdrew $5,000, paying off a few nagging debts that had been dragging him down. He also bought himself a new, mid-range phone. Nothing extravagant, but a functional upgrade that felt like a tiny victory. He even treated himself to a decent meal, a proper steak instead of instant noodles. His newfound confidence wasn't loud or boisterous. It was a quiet hum, a steady warmth beneath his skin. He walked with a straighter spine, met glances with a firmer resolve. It was noticeable. Across Zenith City, in a chic high-rise apartment overlooking the bustling financial district, Clara scrolled through her social feed. She paused, a slight frown creasing her perfectly sculpted brows. A distant acquaintance, Mark, had posted about an old friend suddenly making a killing on the Ethel Labs acquisition. Can't believe Ethan Lin actually pulled that off. Dude used to be so vanilla, now he's playing with the big boys. Clara snorted, almost dismissing it. Ethan Lin? That boring, predictable man she'd dumped for Daniel? Impossible. He had never shown an ounce of financial acumen beyond cautious saving. But the post lingered. She knew Ethan had been devastated, but she hadn't expected him to be doing anything. Later that day, she overheard her father on the phone, discussing the quantum innovations deal. Ethel Labs stock surged, caught everyone off guard. Well, almost everyone. Heard a few small-time players made a surprisingly shrewd move. Her father usually spoke with disdain about small-time players. Clara found herself thinking about Ethan. She mentally scoffed. It must have been pure dumb luck. A blind squirrel finding a nut. There was no way Ethan could have predicted something like that. Daniel had said as much when she'd mentioned it to him, dismissing it with a casual wave. Some people just get lucky sometimes, darling. It's nothing. Yet, a tiny seed of doubt, no larger than a mustard seed, was planted in the fertile ground of Clara's mind. Meanwhile, Sophia Davies, always more attuned to the nuances of Zenith City's elite circles, received a direct message from a disgruntled junior analyst from her family's firm. Miss Sophia, you won't believe it. Old man Henderson is livid. He had Ethel Labs on his do not touch list, but apparently, Ethan Lin, just made a killing on it. Some say he bought in days before the quantum announcement. Total arbitrage play, completely missed by our team. Sophia read the message twice. Ethan Lin? The man she'd agreed to an arranged marriage with, only to publicly reject him for Daniel Lee? The one everyone had written off as a complete non-entity? She remembered his pathetic, defeated face just days ago. Now, he was being discussed in the same breath as arbitrage play and missed by our team? A frown deepened on her aristocratic features. Daniel was charming, charismatic, and powerful, but even he relied on inherited wealth and connections. He didn't make market moves like this, not personally. This was different. Sophia dismissed the thought, telling herself it was just a fluke, a lucky shot in the dark. Daniel was the true protagonist, the one with destiny on his side. Ethan was merely a footnote. Still, she couldn't shake the nagging curiosity. What if that pathetic, scorned man was not as pathetic as she thought? Ethan, oblivious to the whispers and nascent regrets of his ex-fiancées, stared at the updated display of his finances. 25,902.40. It was a paltry sum compared to the billions he envisioned, but it was a beginning. A very real, very tangible beginning. The sting of humiliation still lingered, but now it was a fuel, not a paralysis. AWSI, he said, a new resolve hardening his voice. What's next? Host, your next mission awaits. Mission 002, Strategic Expansion. Objective, establish a legitimate business entity with a clear market strategy. Target, secure initial seed funding of at least $500,000 from external investors within 1 month. Reward, 500 system points, unlocked advanced negotiation skill, and a significant boost to your business network. Ethan blinked. 500,000 in seed funding? That was a massive leap from his initial 25,000. And a legitimate business entity? This was getting serious. Where do I even begin? He asked, a mix of apprehension and exhilaration churning inside him. The system has identified a nascent market opportunity in Zenith City's burgeoning smart home technology sector. Specifically, a gap in personalized, AI-driven home automation services. Furthermore, a talented financial analyst, Sarah Jenkins, has just been made redundant from Horizon Capital after a corporate restructuring. Her skills align perfectly with your projected needs. Initial contact is recommended. Sarah Jenkins. A name Ethan vaguely recognized as a rising star in financial circles. Redundant? A talent like that? This system truly had its fingers everywhere. Ethan looked at his new phone, then at the cluttered chaos of his apartment. He had money, a mission, and an unprecedented guide. He felt a surge of energy he hadn't known he possessed. He was no longer the Scorned heir. He was the Scorned heir with a secret weapon. His path to wealth and redemption had just truly begun. And the first step, he realized, was finding Sarah Jenkins. The hum of Zenith City was a constant, almost comforting drone now, a stark contrast to the silence that had once amplified Ethan Lynn's despair. 2 weeks had passed since the system's first mission. 2 weeks since he'd leveraged a single, obscure stock tip into a modest, but undeniable profit. He stared at his updated bank balance, a number that, while still insignificant to the titans of Zenith, represented a chasm away from his recent rock bottom. It wasn't just the money, it was the proof. The Ascendant Wealth System wasn't a cruel joke. Initial confidence metric, 78, the cool, synthesized voice of AWSI echoed in his mind, breaking his reverie. Optimal psychological state achieved for advanced knowledge integration. Ethan blinked. What does that mean? You are ready for the next phase, Ethan Lynn, AWSI stated. Your perception of market dynamics has been enhanced. Prepare for skill acquisition. Strategic foresight LV. 1. A sudden, dizzying rush filled Ethan's head. It wasn't pain, but an overwhelming influx of data, theories, case studies, and projections. He saw invisible patterns in market trends, recognized subtle shifts in consumer behavior before they solidified, and felt an intuitive grasp of supply chain vulnerabilities and emerging technological needs. It was like suddenly being able to read between the lines of the entire global economy. The sensation passed as quickly as it came, leaving him breathless but undeniably sharper. Analyze current Zenith City economic landscape for an undervalued, high-growth sector, AWSI commanded. Identify a nascent opportunity within the logistics and supply chain optimization industry. Ethan didn't need to pore over dense reports or financial news. With strategic foresight LV, 1, the answer seemed to shimmer into existence in his mind. The city's bustling port, its sprawling industrial zones, the endless flow of goods, it was all inefficient, fragmented. Traditional logistics companies, like the colossal Chin Logistics owned by Sophia's family, relied on outdated infrastructure and manual oversight. There was a critical need for AI-driven, real-time optimization and predictive analytics, especially for small to medium-sized enterprises struggling with last-mile delivery and inventory management. A specific, obscure startup, NexusFlow, surfaced in his enhanced perception. They had developed a groundbreaking, scalable software solution, but were struggling with funding and market penetration due to poor management and a lack of aggressive strategy. They were ripe for acquisition, or more precisely, for a strategic investment that would give him controlling interest. NexusFlow, Ethan murmured, the name feeling instinctively right. They're sitting on a gold mine, but they don't know how to dig. Correct. Nexus Flow possesses the foundational technology. However, the Chin Group's subsidiary, Chin Digital Logistics, is also in preliminary talks for a strategic partnership with an eventual acquisition target in mind, AWSI informed him, a hint of data points flashing in his mental display. Their approach is slow, bureaucratic, and undervalues Nexus Flow's true potential, but their capital reserves are vast. A familiar knot of resentment tightened in Ethan's stomach. Sophia's family. The thought of them accidentally benefiting from his insight, or worse, thwarting his first legitimate venture, ignited a cold fury. This wasn't just business, it was a chance to directly outmaneuver them. But he couldn't do this alone. The intricacies of corporate acquisition, due diligence, and aggressive negotiation were beyond his current skill set. He needed a general for this battle. Recruitment mission active. Secure a highly competent financial analyst. Recommended candidate profile, Sarah Jenkins. The name clicked into place, accompanied by a brief dossier of information. Sarah Jenkins, former lead analyst at Sterling Capital, impeccable track record, known for her sharp mind and uncompromising integrity. Recently left her position due to ethical disagreements with new management. She was exactly what he needed. Ethan placed an anonymous ad, broad enough to attract top talent, but specifically worded to appeal to someone with Sarah's unique background and values. He sought a visionary with an ethical compass, ready to build something new from the ground up. The applications flooded in, but only one resonated with the system's subtle nudges, Sarah Jenkins. Their first meeting was in a sterile, temporary office Ethan had rented in a co-working space, a far cry from the opulent boardrooms of Zenith City. Sarah Jenkins walked in, her presence immediately filling the room. She was tall, with intelligent, piercing eyes behind rimless glasses and a severe bob haircut that perfectly framed a no-nonsense expression. She carried a sleek tablet and a slim leather briefcase, exuding competence and an almost intimidating self-assurance. "Mr. Lin," she stated, her voice calm and clear, offering a firm handshake. "Thank you for seeing me. Your ad was unusual." Ethan gestured to the chair opposite him. "Unusual times call for unusual approaches, Ms. Jenkins." He watched her as they spoke, using his strategic foresight to gauge her responses, her professional integrity, her true motivations. She didn't waste a single word. She cut directly to the chase, asking incisive questions about his vision, his capital, and his strategic objectives. She didn't seem impressed by flowery language or vague promises. She wanted data, a plan, and a compelling reason to invest her considerable talent. "You're looking for someone to build an empire from scratch," she summarized, leaning back slightly, assessing him. "With a relatively small initial investment and a desire to disrupt established players. And you believe Nexus Flow is the key?" Ethan nodded, feeling a strange blend of respect and excitement. She'd pieced together his intentions remarkably quickly. "I believe Nexus Flow has the potential to redefine logistics for small and medium-sized businesses. Their technology is solid, but their business model and scaling strategy are non-existent. They need a visionary leader and a sharp financial mind." "And you believe you are that leader?" she challenged, her gaze unwavering. "I have the vision," Ethan said, his voice firm, drawing on a confidence he hadn't known he possessed a month ago. "And I'm willing to learn, adapt, and fight for it. I also have access to unique insights." He couldn't elaborate on the system, but the implication of an edge was clear. "What I need is your unparalleled analytical prowess, your ability to dissect financials, model growth, and construct a watertight deal that leverages our strengths against a behemoth like Chin Digital Logistics." Sarah's eyes narrowed, a flicker of interest finally appearing. Chin Digital Logistics. "So, it's not just about building a successful startup, is it, Mr. Lin? There's a personal angle." Ethan didn't flinch. "There is always a personal angle in business, Ms. Jenkins. But my primary goal is success. Outmaneuvering Chin Digital Logistics would simply be a bonus. I want to build a company that matters, that offers real value, and that will ultimately leave them scrambling to catch up." She considered him for a long moment. "My reputation is built on integrity and results. I don't associate with vanity projects or reckless ventures. My fee will be substantial, and I will demand full transparency and autonomy in my financial analyses. Agreed, Ethan said instantly. He knew she was worth every penny. I'm offering a significant equity stake, not just a salary. You'll be a co-founder, Ms. Jenkins. This isn't just my venture, it's ours. A faint, almost imperceptible smile touched Sarah's lips. That's a compelling offer, Mr. Lin. Very well. Let's talk strategy for Nexus Flow. I have some initial thoughts on how to structure a bid that makes their current board an offer they can't refuse, even if it means stepping on Chin Digital's toes. He felt a surge of elation. Welcome aboard, Sarah. Over the next few days, Ethan and Sarah worked relentlessly. Sarah, a whirlwind of spreadsheets and legal documents, devoured Nexus Flow's financials, identifying hidden assets, overlooked intellectual property, and underutilized market segments. Ethan, guided by AWSI's subtle nudges and his strategic foresight, provided high-level directives, pinpointing key negotiation leverage points and forecasting Chin Digital logistics countermoves. The Chen Group is operating on outdated projections, Sarah explained, tapping a graph on her tablet. They're valuing Nexus Flow based on its current, struggling revenue. We, however, will value it on its potential market share with proper management and aggressive scaling into emerging markets, specifically the untapped mid-tier logistics for eco-friendly product lines. It's a niche they haven't even considered. Ethan absorbed her words, a new layer of understanding crystallizing in his mind. So, we don't just outbid them. We demonstrate that their bid is fundamentally flawed because they don't understand what they're buying. Precisely, Sarah affirmed, a glint in her eye. We'll present a two-pronged approach, a slightly higher cash offer than Chin Digital is likely to make, coupled with a detailed, actionable growth plan that promises a far greater return for Nexus Flow's existing shareholders who retain a minority stake. It will make our offer look not just better, but smarter. The day of the final acquisition pitch arrived. It was held in a neutral, upscale corporate meeting room with representatives from Nexus Flow's board, their legal team, and observing delegates from Chin Digital Logistics, a formidable, if somewhat complacent, presence. Ethan found himself sitting opposite an arrogant-looking director from Chin Digital, a man who clearly underestimated him. Ethan presented his vision with a newfound clarity and conviction, his voice steady. He laid out the future of Nexus Flow, not as a simple logistics company, but as a disruptive tech innovator. Sarah then followed, presenting the financial projections with meticulous detail, her arguments razor-sharp, demonstrating how their offer, though perhaps only marginally higher in immediate cash, offered exponential long-term value for Nexus Flow's shareholders. She systematically dismantled any arguments for Chin Digital's offer, implicitly highlighting their lack of foresight. He saw the Nexus Flow board members' expressions shift from skepticism to genuine interest, then to dawning realization. They hadn't just been offered money, they'd been offered a chance for their brainchild to truly flourish. The Chin Digital director, realizing he was losing ground, tried to interject, to dismiss Ethan as an upstart. But Ethan met his gaze, unflinching. Mr. Lee, Ethan said, addressing him directly, his tone cool and confident. Your company excels at maintaining the status quo. Mine will define the future. Nexus Flow's technology is not a commodity to be absorbed, it's a catalyst to be unleashed. We are not just buying a company, we are investing in a revolution. The decision was swift. Nexus Flow chose Ethan. Walking out of the meeting, a wave of profound satisfaction washed over him. This wasn't just revenge, it was an undeniable, legitimate victory. He'd built something. He'd won a strategic battle on his own terms, with his own insights and a brilliant ally. Congratulations, Ethan, Sarah said, a rare, genuine smile gracing her lips. That was a masterclass in strategic acquisition. You played them perfectly. We played them perfectly, Sarah, Ethan corrected, a warm sense of camaraderie blooming between them. As they stepped into the Zenith City sunlight, Ethan felt his phone vibrate. It was a message from an unknown number, a grainy paparazzi photo of Clara and Sophia, looking disgruntled, staring at a financial news report displayed on a large screen in a cafe window. The headline read, "Unknown upstart secures Nexus Flow, blindsides Chin Digital Logistics." Their expressions were a mixture of confusion and dawning apprehension. AWSI's voice chimed in his mind, devoid of emotion but resonant with power. Mission accomplished. Establish foundation. Outmaneuver rival. Net worth target achieved. Tier 1 wealth unlocked. Next objective. Develop and launch a disruptive technological product within 6 months. Market penetration. Global. Your seed capital has multiplied. Ethan Lin. Prepare for a quantum leap. Ethan looked at the city, then at Sarah, a nascent empire already taking shape around them. He hadn't just survived, he was beginning to thrive. And he knew, with a certainty that settled deep in his bones, that this was only the beginning. The game had just truly begun. The hum of servers was the new symphony of Ethan Lin's life. Months had flown by since the inception of Phoenix Innovations, a whirlwind of sleepless nights, caffeine-fueled strategy sessions, and the relentless pursuit of a vision. Under the Ascendant Wealth System's subtle guidance and Sarah Jenkins's sharp analytical mind, their small startup had been building something truly revolutionary. Ethel is running at 98.7 efficiency in simulated environments. Ethan, Sarah reported, her gaze fixed on the sprawling holographic display in their state-of-the-art RD lab. Her voice, usually calm and composed, held a tremor of excitement. The predictive algorithms are exceeding expectations, and the neural network's self-learning capabilities are phenomenal. We're ready. Ethan leaned back in his ergonomic chair, a faint smile playing on his lips. His gaunt, worried face from months ago had been replaced by a sharper, more confident profile. He'd shed the lingering self-pity like an old skin, replaced by an invigorating drive. Good. The Zenith Tech Summit is next week. We're not just attending, we're going to redefine the landscape. AWSI's voice, ever present in his mind, chimed in. Mission, disruptive innovation. Unveil Ethel at the Zenith Tech Summit. Secure minimum investment of 500 million Z credits. Failure to meet target will incur penalties. 500 million, huh? Ethan muttered, a familiar thrill running through him. The system always pushed him, always raised the stakes. But with Ethel, he felt an almost unshakable certainty. Ethel wasn't just an AI. It was a digital companion designed to anticipate, optimize, and streamline every facet of a user's professional and personal life. Traditional virtual assistants were reactive. Ethel was predictive. It learned a user's habits, their calendar, their communication style, even their nuanced preferences to proactively suggest solutions, draft replies, schedule meetings, and manage complex projects before the user even realized the need. It was like having a highly efficient, hyper-intelligent personal assistant who could read your mind, integrated seamlessly across all devices and platforms. The Zenith Tech Summit was Zenith City's most prestigious technology event, drawing venture capitalists, tech titans, and media moguls from across the globe. Ethan had secured a prime slot for Phoenix Innovations, thanks to some shrewd networking and a healthy dose of system-guided foresight into market trends. The day of the presentation dawned crisp and clear, but the air inside the Grand Zenith Convention Center buzzed with electric anticipation. Ethan, dressed in a custom-tailored dark suit that exuded quiet authority, felt a surge of adrenaline. He was no longer the awkward, overlooked scion. He was the founder and CEO of Phoenix Innovations. As he walked onto the vast, dimly lit stage, the spotlight found him, banishing the shadows. The auditorium was packed, a sea of faces, investors, competitors, journalists, and even, to his slight surprise, a familiar set of faces in the VIP section, Daniel Lee, flanked by Clara and Sophia. A flicker of the old resentment sparked within him, quickly extinguished. It was a useful ember, but not the fire itself. He met Daniel's cool, appraising stare without flinching, then swept his gaze over Clara's stunned expression and Sophia's tight-lipped frown. Their presence was just another validation, another measure of how far he'd come. Good afternoon, everyone, Ethan began, his voice clear and resonant, amplified by the state-of-the-art sound system. For too long, our digital assistants have been just that, assistants. reactive tools that wait for our command. They respond, they search, they execute, but they don't anticipate. He paused, letting this statement hang in the air. Today, Phoenix Innovations introduces Ethel. Not an assistant, but a true digital partner. A cognitive extension of your own ambition. On the massive screen behind him, elegant graphics began to unfurl, showcasing Ethel's sleek, intuitive interface. Imagine waking up and, before you've even had your coffee, Ethel has analyzed your fluctuating schedule, identified a critical conflict with a client meeting later that day, and proactively rescheduled it, cross-referencing availability with all parties, sending out new invites, and even drafting a polite, personalized apology email for the change, all approved with a single mental nod. A murmur rippled through the audience. This wasn't just a fancy Siri. Let me show you. Ethan gestured to a holographic display that materialized before him. Sarah, poised and efficient, joined him on stage, a tablet in hand. Sarah, could you demonstrate Ethel's proactive project management? Ethan prompted. Certainly, Ethan, Sarah replied, her fingers dancing over the tablet. Ethel, new project, Quantum Leap Initiative. Priority, urgent. Deadline, 3 weeks. The holographic display sprang to life, displaying a complex project flowchart. Ethel's calming, intelligent voice emanated from the speakers. Acknowledged, Sarah. Based on your historical project data and current workload, I've identified key team members, allocated initial tasks, and flagged potential resource bottlenecks. I've also cross-referenced industry benchmarks and detected a necessary data acquisition phase that could be optimized by integrating with the Nebula Analytics platform. Shall I initiate preliminary contact with their API team? Gasps. This was beyond anything currently on the market. It wasn't just managing tasks, it was thinking several steps ahead. Ethel, show me the projected market impact of the Quantum Leap Initiative based on current competitor data and anticipated economic shifts, Ethan commanded. Immediately, a series of intricate graphs and data projections appeared, complete with risk assessments and potential returns, all dynamically updating as Ethan asked follow-up questions about specific variables. The speed, accuracy, and depth of analysis were breathtaking. It was like having a supercomputer with the intuition of a seasoned analyst. Ethel learns, Ethan explained, his voice swelling with confidence. It doesn't just follow commands. It understands context, anticipates needs, and optimizes outcomes. It is a quantum leap in personal and professional productivity. When he finished, a stunned silence hung in the air, quickly broken by a thunderous applause that swept through the auditorium. Then, the bidding began. Vanguard Capital offers $300 million for a 15% stake. A booming voice cut through the applause. Too low, another shouted. Infinity Ventures offers $450 million for 12%. The numbers escalated rapidly, names of prestigious investment firms being thrown around like confetti. Ethan stood calmly, allowing the frenzy to build. He watched Daniel Lee's face. The charming, effortless smile was gone, replaced by a grim, calculating expression. Daniel, representing a major conglomerate that had been eyeing a competitor's simpler AI venture, looked visibly unsettled. Ethan's product wasn't just better, it rendered Daniel's potential investment obsolete, a relic before it even launched. The main character luck seemed to be flickering under the sheer force of Ethan's innovation. Clara, beside Daniel, looked utterly distraught. Her beautiful features were contorted by a mixture of shock and dawning horror. She saw the man she dismissed as a failure, a side character, now dictating terms to the titans of Zenith City. Sophia's elegant composure had cracked. Her eyes, usually sharp and discerning, darted between Ethan on stage and Daniel, whose own frustration was becoming increasingly apparent. The regret on their faces was a tangible thing, a heavy cloak settling around them. Ascendant Wealth System mission objective, 500 million Z credits achieved, AWSI chirped in Ethan's mind. New highest offer, 800 million Z credits for 10% stake from Zenith Global Holdings. Recommended acceptance. Ethan's smile widened. Zenith Global Holdings was an industry giant, a behemoth. Their backing would not only provide massive capital, but also unparalleled market penetration. "Ladies and gentlemen," Ethan announced, raising a hand to quell the excited chatter. "We appreciate your overwhelming interest. Phoenix Innovations accepts the offer from Zenith Global Holdings, 800 million Z credits for a 10 equity stake." A fresh wave of applause erupted, even more enthusiastic than before. Ethan inclined his head, a genuine warmth in his eyes as he looked at Sarah, who was beaming. They had done it. Backstage, after the frenzy had subsided, Sarah clapped Ethan on the shoulder, a rare, unrestrained grin on her face. "Ethan, you were phenomenal. That was unprecedented. 800 million. You practically stole the show from under everyone's noses." "We did it, Sarah," Ethan corrected, a comfortable camaraderie between them now. "And Ethel did the heavy lifting." He glanced at the holographic tablet he still held. "AW what's the next move?" "Congratulations, Ethan Lin. Mission complete. Net worth has surpassed 1 billion Z credits. System initiating Phase 2 protocols. Your strategic prowess has effectively nullified Daniel Lee's competitive advantage in this sector. However, the path ahead holds more intricate challenges. Expect heightened scrutiny. Prepare for direct confrontation. Your next mission will be delivered in 24 hours. Enjoy this victory, Ethan. You've earned it." Ethan felt a thrill, not just from the financial success, but from the systemic acknowledgement. He had surpassed the billion credit mark. He had proven his value, not just to the system, but to himself. His gaze drifted to the news channels, already plastered with headlines about Phoenix Innovations and Ethel. One particular segment showed Clara and Sophia leaving the summit with Daniel Lee, their expressions a stark contrast to his own buoyant mood. Daniel, usually so composed, looked utterly furious, answering reporters with terse, clipped words. Their regret was now undeniable, a public spectacle. But as Ethan watched, a new thought solidified in his mind. The feeling wasn't pure triumph or vengeful glee. It was something more profound. He had set out to surpass them, to make them regret. And he had, spectacularly. But now, looking at the possibilities Ethel opened, the genuine innovation they had brought to the world, the sheer scale of the empire he was building, the pursuit of revenge felt, somehow, a little small. He had become staggeringly wealthy. He had surpassed Daniel Lee and his ex-fiancées. He had proven his immense value. But was that truly the end of his purpose? He stared out at the Zenith City skyline, a sprawling testament to ambition and power. He was a force to be reckoned with now. The game had changed. And he knew, with a chilling certainty, that Daniel Lee, the once unflappable protagonist, would not take this public humiliation lying down. The indirect challenge was over. The direct confrontation was about to begin. The panoramic windows of Ethan's penthouse office stretched from floor to ceiling, framing Zenith City like a glittering jewel. Below, the relentless pulse of ambition beat through a tapestry of skyscrapers, each light a testament to human endeavor. From this vantage point, Ethan could see the sprawling corporate headquarters of Veritas Global, the very company that had once seemed an insurmountable fortress, now merely a competitor he'd eclipsed several times over. He leaned back in his ergonomic chair, a faint hum of satisfaction vibrating through him. His net worth, displayed discreetly on a holographic interface only he could see, blinked a final, staggering figure. $18,450 million. $18.45 billion. The number was so absurdly large it had almost lost its meaning, becoming a symbol of a journey completed. A calm, synthesized voice resonated in his mind. Primary objective, ascendant fortune achieved. Net worth benchmark surpassed. Congratulations, Ethan Lin. AWSI. No fanfare, no dramatic music. Just the detached confirmation of a goal painstakingly reached. He'd done it. He, Ethan Lin, the scorned heir, the cannon fodder, had become one of Zenith City's most formidable new titans. The system flickered, displaying a new notification, new mission available, legacy builder. Details pending decision on current objectives resolution. Ethan closed his eyes, a wave of exhaustion, relief, and an unexpected emptiness washing over him. The pursuit had been relentless, consuming almost every waking thought. Now, at the peak, he felt calm. Too calm. His gaze drifted to a digital frame on his desk, displaying an old photo. Him, Clara, and Sophia, laughing together, oblivious to the impending storm. He hadn't looked at it in months, but he hadn't deleted it either. A ghost of who he used to be, a reminder of the naive fool who thought love and loyalty were enough. He saw them now occasionally in the society pages or the fringes of business events. Clara, once vibrant and confident, now carried a subtle shadow beneath her eyes. Her family's fashion empire, already struggling, had taken a significant hit when Ethan's innovative AI-driven textile manufacturing startup had disrupted the market, rendering their legacy methods obsolete. She had tried to reach out a few times, a tearful text here, a hesitant email there, but Ethan had merely instructed Sarah to filter them. He saw the desperation, the regret. He simply felt nothing. No schadenfreude, no renewed hurt. Just a cool indifference. Sophia's situation was even starker. Her family's real estate development firm, once a behemoth, had been directly outmaneuvered by Ethan's earlier system-guided acquisitions. He'd secured key land parcels and innovative urban planning contracts that left them scrambling. Daniel Lee, with all his charisma and main character luck, had been unable to reverse her family's slide. Sophia, usually poised and aloof, had been spotted at a charity gala, her forced smile barely concealing a fragile anxiety. She, too, had tried to make contact, even showing up at his office once, only to be politely but firmly turned away by security. And Daniel Lee, the golden boy. His luck, once seemingly infinite, had begun to fray around the edges. Ethan hadn't needed to actively target him, not directly. He'd simply built his own empire, pursuing system missions that inadvertently choked off Daniel's burgeoning ventures. A critical tech patent Daniel was eyeing? Ethan's company acquired it first. A lucrative investment opportunity? Ethan's algorithm flagged it hours before Daniel's team caught wind. Daniel's latest startup, a green energy initiative lauded for its idealism, was currently struggling to secure Series C funding, ironically outpaced by Ethan's own far more efficient and scalable renewable energy solutions. Ethan had seen Daniel at a recent industry summit. Daniel's aura, once magnetic, seemed dimmer, burdened by a growing frustration. His easy smile was now often strained, his eyes holding a flicker of confusion. The main character was no longer effortlessly sailing. He was running into headwinds, and Ethan Lynn, the cannon fodder, was the storm. A soft knock interrupted his thoughts. "Come in, Sarah." Sarah Jenkins entered, a sleek tablet clutched in her hand. Her sharp gaze swept over the pristine office, then settled on Ethan. "Good news, CEO Lynn. The final acquisition of Aurum Biotech went through an hour ago. That puts us firmly in control of over 70 of the gene editing IP market. A true monopoly, if I may say so." Ethan nodded, a ghost of a smile touching his lips. "Excellent work, Sarah." "As always." Sarah took a seat opposite him, her expression softening. "You seem pensive, Ethan. We've hit the target. The system's primary objective is complete. You're wealthier than almost anyone in Zenith City. You've proven everyone wrong. Daniel Lee's empire is sputtering, and your ex-fiancées, well, they're hardly living their fairy tale now." She paused, her eyes searching his. "Is this what you wanted?" Ethan leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. "I honestly don't know, Sarah. For so long, it was all I could think about. Prove them wrong. Show them what they lost. Build something so undeniably massive that they couldn't ignore it. And I have. I've won." He gestured vaguely at the city outside. "The wealth is immense. The power is intoxicating. I could probably buy out Clara's family, acquire Sophia's parents' firm, and leave them with nothing but their pride to starve on. I could orchestrate a campaign that completely cripples Daniel Lee, reducing him to obscurity. The system would probably even reward me for it if I framed it as a market consolidation or a strategic takeover. Sarah listened intently, her expression unreadable. "And what stops you?" "The feeling," Ethan admitted, his voice quiet. "The feeling of hollowness. I thought achieving this would bring me boundless joy, a deep satisfaction. Instead, it feels like crossing a finish line only to realize the race wasn't the point. Or rather, the finish line was just another starting point. He looked at Sarah, a genuine vulnerability in his eyes. Is this all there is? Is my purpose simply to amass more and more, to crush those who wronged me? Sarah finally spoke, her voice gentle. Ethan, when you first hired me, you were a wreck. You were driven by pain, by anger. But you also had a spark. A shrewdness that few possessed. You listened, you learned, you adapted. The wealth you've built isn't just about revenge anymore. It's about innovation. It's about efficiency. It's about creating new industries and pushing boundaries. Think of the medical advances Aurum Biotech is poised to make. Think of the sustainable housing projects your urban development division is building. Those things are real. They impact lives beyond just the balance sheet. You've already surpassed Daniel Lee, not just in wealth, but in genuine impact. His ventures, while well-intentioned, often relied on luck and charm. Yours rely on undeniable merit, system-guided or not. Do you truly believe reducing him to poverty would make you feel more accomplished, or would it just be a momentary spike in dopamine, followed by the same emptiness? Ethan considered her words, a long silence settling between them. Sarah was right. He had grown. The burning desire for revenge had cooled, replaced by something more complex. He still wanted to win, to be the best, but the why had fundamentally shifted. He looked out at the city again, seeing it not as a battleground, but as a canvas. Billions. He had billions. The power to reshape the world. Not just to tear down, but to build. Sigh, Ethan thought, focusing his intent. Show me the details of the Legacy Builder mission. The holographic interface reappeared, larger this time, projecting a series of complex data streams and strategic proposals. Legacy Builder, Task 1. Establish a philanthropic foundation dedicated to sustainable technology and education, with an initial endowment of no less than $500 million. Task 2. Lead the development of a groundbreaking solution to a pressing global challenge, e.g., climate change, disease eradication, food scarcity. Task 3. Cultivate a global network of influence focused on collaborative innovation rather than competitive dominance. Ethan read through the objectives, a slow smile spreading across his face. This wasn't about petty revenge. This was about something grander, something that truly resonated with the transformation he'd undergone. He still had the urge to win, but now the victory would be measured by a different metric. He turned to Sarah, his eyes alight with a renewed purpose. Sarah, prepare the paperwork. We're establishing the Lynn Foundation by the end of the week. And I want a detailed report on the global initiatives tackling water scarcity and clean energy. We're going to put our billions to work, not just for ourselves, but for something truly meaningful. Sarah's own smile was genuine now, a rare display of warmth. It would be an honor, Ethan. What about Veritas Global? Daniel Lee's struggling green energy startup. Ethan leaned back, a glint in his eye. Leave Daniel Lee to his own devices. I'm done with chasing him. But if his company develops technology that could genuinely contribute to a global solution, then we'll acquire it at fair market value, incorporate it into the Foundation's initiatives, and ensure it gets the resources it needs. He can still be part of something great, even if he's not the one leading it. He paused, a new resolve hardening his features. As for Veritas Global and our other competitors, we'll continue to outcompete them, fair and square, just as we always have. But the primary goal has shifted. Our aim is no longer just wealth, but impact. We're not just building an empire, we're building a legacy. The next chapter of Ethan Lynn's story was not about retribution, but renaissance. The Scorned heir had found his fortune, and now he was about to discover its true power. The system, in its cryptic wisdom, had guided him not just to riches, but to a profound choice, one that would redefine him and Zenith City itself. Legacy Builder, initializing. Prepare for an even greater challenge, Ethan Lynn. The path to true ascendancy begins now. Ethan grinned, a confidence radiating from him that was entirely his own, unburdened by past grievances. I'm ready. The The city outside beckoned, no longer a monument to his pain, but a proving ground for his purpose. And somewhere, perhaps, Daniel Lee felt a tremor in the market, a shift in the currents that had always favored him, signaling the rise of a new kind of protagonist. A protagonist who wasn't just lucky, but strategic, purposeful, and profoundly wealthy.